but wanted to speed up things.
Okay.
And in life, like all of us, we know the Bible, the Word. And life sometimes may put us in situations that we feel like there is something that should be done immediately. But the Bible already has spoken to us, and the Lord has given His blessings to our life. So at times we speed things up. Nasikia siku hizi tunaitwa microwave generation. We want things, for instance, mtu anataka amalize shule immediately na apate kazi immediately.
Yes.
But you know, the Lord has already spoken over your life. He has already given you the promises of which you are supposed to have faith and believe each and everything that He says, instead of trying to fix things up yourself. So we see Sarai compromising, and she did not want to wait because the Lord had already spoken over them and had promised them children. But instead, she took things to her hands and decided to give Abram her slave, who was an Egyptian called Hagar. So Abraham agreed to what Sarai said. And in verse 3, when Abraham and Sarai were coming out of Haran, by that time Abraham was 75 years old. So by this time that Sarai is giving up, Abraham was 85 years old. So she had waited on the promises of the Lord for 10 years, but when vile ilifika the 10th year, faith yake ikaisha. So she stopped trusting that God was going to bless her with offspring. So from this verse we learn that we should not get weary of waiting upon the Lord.
Sure.
We should not be impatient. We should trust and wait upon Him.
Amen.
And do not, okay, there is something I say frequently. The devil instills fear in us, and he makes us to he dictates our faith with time. So he will tend to try and make you worry when you feel like the timing has, like for Sarai, she waited too long, so she felt like time is up. I'm already old, there is nothing that can be done, and I cannot get children. So do not let time dictate your faith. You should stay strong in Christ. And we all know that faith comes from believing and hearing the word of the Lord, right? So we should all read our Bibles so that we can have this faith to wait upon the Lord, such that hata ukiona kama the situation you're in has taken too long or God is not answering you immediately, you should not get weary of waiting upon Him. So, and there is a verse in the Bible that says God makes everything beautiful in His own time.
Ecclesiastes 3.
Yes, Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 11. So we go to verse 5. Then Sarai said to Abram, "You are responsible for the wrong I'm suffering." Also, in verse 4, Hagar agreed. So what I was saying about this character Hagar, she's obedient. You know, being a slave, you really don't have much to yourself. What your master or your mistress says, you just have to follow. And maybe hata hakukuwa anataka, but because Sarai had told her, she had to accept. She was obedient. So she became pregnant and started to despise her mistress. So Hagar conceived. And now I think she looked upon Sarai, because even if she was the mistress, she could not conceive. But her as a slave, she was able to conceive. So when Sarai saw that Hagar was despising her, she decided to mistreat her. And that's what verse 5 says. Then Sarai said to Abraham, "You're responsible for the wrong I am suffering. I put my slaves in your arms, and now that she knows she's pregnant, she despises me.